Greetings from Father Isidore Clark. Today I am going to reflect on the Gospel for the 5th Sunday of Eastertide. It takes courage to stick your neck out and ask a question. To say, "I don't understand. Please explain what you mean." We fear others may think us stupid, even if they're just as mystified as we are. Perhaps they're scared to stick their heads above the parapet for fear of having them blown off. Or perhaps they're not sufficiently interested to take the trouble to try to understand. In fact, any good teacher welcomes questions. He or she would be glad that the questioner had shown sufficient interest to want to understand what had been said. There's nothing more discouraging for a speaker than to be treated with zombie-like indifference and silence. Jesus is the best of teachers and welcomes our questions. He didn't slap Thomas down as a nuisance or as an idiot. Instead, he used Thomas's question as an opportunity for him to deepen our understanding of what he'd been saying. That's what any good teacher would do. Let's now look at today's Gospel. Jesus had just said that he was going ahead to prepare a place for us. And he tells the disciples that they already know the way. But the ever-practical Thomas says they don't know where Jesus is going. So how can they possibly know how to get there? This question provides Jesus with the opportunity to reveal the profound truth about himself. So Jesus answers, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Elsewhere in this Gospel, he tells us he has come to show us the way to the Father. He now tells us that he himself is the way. In other words, following Jesus is the way to the Father. As the Word of God incarnate, Jesus is the truth, embodying God's self-revelation. The truth, which is Jesus, does not simply touch our minds and our hearts. It gives us a share in God's own life and happiness. The truth, which is Jesus, is alive and active. It sets us free from slavery to sin, ignorance and error. We should be grateful to Thomas for asking questions. This should reassure us that it's good to have an inquiring, questioning mind. That's the way God has made us. Our questions can be the springboard for deeper insight in what it means to follow Christ. As St. Anselm wrote, "I believe so that I can understand." And he also spoke of faith seeking understanding. Having said this, we must remember that we are trying to understand divine mysteries. These are way beyond our very limited human comprehension, even when this is enlightened by faith. We can never plumb the full depths of divine revelation. Always we're left with a sense of wonder. That's why St. Paul exclaims in his letter to the Romans, chapter 11, verse 33, "Oh, the depths of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and unfathomable his ways."